my name is Raz, I'm 26 years old, I'm from Israel, and I love making videos. I'm here today to share with you my unique experiences in the place I call home for the last 12 years of my life, China.
今天我到了该报纸，他谈不来。哇！
After many years here, I've seen so much of what the real China is by getting to know hundreds of Chinese people and hearing their stories. I believe the world has lots of misconceptions and misunderstandings about this place and its people. And that's why the world needs to know more about China, its traditions, its past, its present, and its future. And of course, about the Chinese Communist Party, the CPC, who shaped what China is today. Thankfully, my experiences in China were all recorded on camera, and I've published more than 1,000 videos that are all about authentic recordings of my life here and what I see here every day. Among them, I've got to know people from all walks of life: students, teachers, waiters, delivery men, farmers, cooks, taxi drivers, entrepreneurs, you name it. I've got to know them all. And today, I want to recall some of the people who gave me the deepest impression and all share one common element, is that they are all CPC members. Through my interaction with them, I got to have a much better understanding of the CPC, its people, and its contribution to China's growth and achievements over the past 100 years. The first story is about a person I met in a little village far into the suburbs of Guizhou, a province famous for its super spicy food. I met a young man, a party member, who's taken on himself the role of helping the poor village come out of poverty and find ways to prosper.
我看这里到这里还是比较方便，现在就有路啊之类的，是吧？
以前全都是房泥路。
More than 600 kilometers away from the city, I drove for more than 4 hours and arrived in this beautiful village. There, I met a young man who told me with great pride about how this village has been elevated from poverty, thanks to joint efforts of the government policies, the investments in network technology, and the rise of social media platforms and e-commerce platforms. He's a young man who had a vision to come and help a few hundred villagers far away in Guizhou. A young man who took what he learned about the internet, e-commerce, and social media and successfully promoted these villages' local products. He did it by finding 7 local beautiful ladies and created a social media account for them where they share their daily life through videos and live streaming. They then promoted this village, local products, and bring extra income for their special goods and foods. I was extremely moved by how passionate this young man was for fulfilling the goal of poverty elevation, a goal set by the CPC to help more than 770 million Chinese rural residents become richer and improve their life conditions. It was through his ability to take on an initiative that is very innovative, leverage social media to help the villagers find new income channels. And this makes the village more connected to other areas in China. The locals don't feel disconnected and poor anymore. They truly feel involved in the country's growth.
Bye.
Well, the second person I met is in another beautiful area in China, Wu Yishan, a place full of nature, fresh air, and tasty tea. The tea produced there is known to be worth a lot of money due to its high quality. So, I decided to go there and learn about Chinese tea culture and understand why tea has such a long history and high importance in China.
这里的那个空气很好，很舒服。你也在家很久了吗？
But as soon as I arrived there, I was shocked by the level of modernization of this area.
现在都用机器。哇！
The entire processing of tea and farming was automated completely with advanced machinery. I met a person there who is a 科技特派员, a technology specialist, appointed by the CPC to increase the level of modernization in the area, the importance put into making the most rural areas of China modernized through involving trained party members who bring advanced knowledge with them of management and technology was absolutely crucial for the region to become more prosperous. I came to learn about tea, but I ended up experiencing the highly efficient way the CPC and its members are able to advance even the most traditional and old industries, Chinese tea itself. The third story was one of the most emotional, unique experiences I've ever had in China. I met an old man, 90 years old, a veteran of the Chinese army, a person that has seen the entire history of China in the last 90 years and has been through the majority of the CPC's history. I met him through a friend of a friend who told me that his great-grandfather has never been to Beijing, and it is one of his biggest dreams to go there. I was quite surprised and asked him if it will be possible to accompany his great-grandfather on a trip to Beijing, where I live. He agreed, and that's how this beautiful story started.
很年轻啊，兄弟。
First, when I met my new friend, he shook my hand and asked me if I was 50 years old. But then he proudly introduced me to the history of him as a soldier and the achievements he received from the CPC. It was the first time in my 12 years in China that I got to meet someone that experienced all the progress and changes of China over the past 90 years. The battle against fascism, the unification of modern China, the hopes of a new era, and the tremendous growth and the modernization of China that happened to him so fast and made him feel so happy. He shared with me his dedication for the nation during the most uncertain times. He also mentioned how the cancellation of the agricultural tax made a huge impact on his life in the rural village. He mentioned how the land he grew on meant so much for him and gave him a sense of home for generations and generations. But he always felt something is missing. He wanted to see Beijing's Tiananmen Square. So, the next day, we arrived together to Beijing from Hebei. We arrived at Tiananmen Square for the Chinese flag raising ceremony. It was cold, 5:45 a.m. We were walking together and I was holding his hand. Yet the old man didn't speak a word. His eyes, though, were shining so brightly. Like he reached a place he always dreamed about or saw on TV, a place that meant so much for him and his history. I personally visited Tiananmen before, but I've never understood what it truly meant for the older Chinese generation, especially for those who have seen the entire history and development of the CPC. Through his emotions, his expressions, his excitement, I could strongly sense the unique bond between the Chinese people and the party. The old man used to serve as a medic in the army. He then offered free medical services for many people for most of his life. He devoted his life for helping others during tough times. And now he has many grandchildren that are living happily, and he's so thankful for this era, for what he's been through and what the country went through to reach its prosperity today. After so many years in China, I finally got a broader perspective on how so many generations have been through the development of China and the CPC. And as a foreigner, I was truly moved myself and came to appreciate more all the history and the hard-fought achievements China reached to this day. Well, those three stories of three different Chinese people I personally met were all made into videos watched by millions of people all around the world. I'm happy that I shared those stories with you because they help people like me who are not Chinese but truly want to understand the cultural significance of China in different cities and villages and across different ages and generations. All of these 3 stories were all told by CPC members who each had their own contribution and participation in the tremendous growth and development of China. Thank you for listening to my sharing, and I hope to continue to share with the world the China I see through my eyes and the unique people I meet on the way of my journey here. Thank you and goodbye.